Hello, welcome to another episode of CBFU from the shop. It's the week of September 3rd, 2014, and we've got a lot of big books with us this week.
Great books this week.
Jarryd, you want to start us off?
Yeah, let's jump into DC and the New 52. This week we have Justice League, and it's one of the few titles that isn't going to be tying into Future's End this month. So I enjoyed it. It's continuing the story of Power Ring and all the developments from the fallout of Forever Evil. It's a little bit late, but still, it's a solid book. And Jeff Johns has been killing it, honestly. Between just his depiction of Lex Luthor is great, and it builds a case for why he should be on the Justice League. Even though in the book, certain events make him seem obsolete in the grand scheme of things. But again, he's just such an intriguing character that you want to read him more, and seeing him interplay with people like Batman and Shazam and all those characters is just fun.
I love this book. I love Jeff Johns. It's one of my favorite DC books, and Batman gets a moment in this book with Power Ring. That is just the best Batman moment that has been in a long... Batman has a lot of great moments, but this is a really good Batman Justice League moment.
It is, because it shows why they're heroes and not just, powerful entities that, are taking over the world with, their abilities, It just shows the human aspects of the Justice League.
And then it also shows that, even though Lex Luthor is, he's always comes with, I'm so smart, I'm the smartest person in the room, Batman is still smarter, just a better hero.
More human. Yeah. He's more human than Lex Luthor. And it was just a great book. So I would give Justice League issue number 33, I would definitely give that about 8 out of 10 of those, honestly.
Our next book is the Marvel event, Death of Wolverine #1.
It's finally here.
Yeah, this is Charles Soule writing, Steve McNiven on art, and it is really good. If you haven't been reading Wolverine for the past year, it really doesn't matter. All you need to know is Wolverine lost his healing factor, and now we're here. The art by Steve McNiven is top notch.
Yeah, he had that short stint on Guardians of the Galaxy when that was 3 or 4 issues and stuff.
Yeah.
But this is his best work since Old Man Logan.
Yeah, and it's very much like Old Man Logan.
It's very befitting that he would draw Wolverine's swan song. It was just a really visceral, strong. Wolverine hasn't been this cool in so long, and it's a shame that we're getting this badass Wolverine and he's dying.
But if you like Wolverine the badass, Wolverine, he'll go through anything and just come out the other side. This is that Wolverine. This is my Wolverine.
And it was shocking is that this is Charles Soule's first chance with the character. It's his first time with Wolverine.
And he knocks it out of the park.
He nails it.
In the first go-around. Only minor nitpicks. There are some continuity things.
If you have been reading Paul Cornell's Wolverine run, or just about any other Marvel Now title, there's just certain pieces and aspects of it, whether it's dealing with some of the guest stars in the book, like Mr. Fantastic's in the book, and certain things about what's happening in Fantastic Four doesn't add up.
Yeah, there's
and
also some villains that appear in the book who one of them might be dead currently. One of them sort of appears in a way that wasn't in the other books.
Yeah, it's just it kind of feels like they had Charles Soule tapped, but it's Charles Soule is writing 23 other books. He was just in his other dimension, so he wasn't reading any of the Marvel Now titles. So he basically just goes in there with okay, Wolverine lost his healing factor, go. This is where I'm taking it from.
And it's good because the Paul Cornell stuff was
it was pretty painful to read.
It was terrible.
But still, they had that whole build up: 3 months to die, 2 months to die, 1 month to die, and literally none of that has anything to do.
Yeah, no, I didn't read it, and it doesn't matter. If you didn't read it, I think you're better off enjoying this book.
So it's still a good book. It stands well on its own, but if you've been reading the progression of Wolverine and his story up until this point, you kind of have to disregard that to really enjoy this book.
There are certain things where you just have to say, okay, I'm just gonna have to ignore that because this is a really good book, and it is a really good book, and you should go get it. And I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10 of those. It was really good.
Next up, we have another big book coming from Marvel. We have Original Sin, issue number 8. The conclusion is here. And before I go, Isaac, what did you think?
I liked it. I didn't love it as much as I enjoyed the other series. The top mark of the series for me was when they did that issue with the flashback. Yeah, when Nick Fury introduced the man on the wall and everything, and that was really cool. This issue, it felt, and I don't even know why it felt this way. It felt like a little rushed towards the end. It was and certain things that happened in it were telegraphed by Marvel in their solicitations and earlier, so there's not as many surprises as I would have wanted.
That's the number one thing that kind of undercuts all the progress that the series made, and it's just that it's a whodunit. It's that mystery, and you kind of end off with more mystery than payoff. there's a big payoff. Don't get me wrong. There's this one solid payoff that we were all that I called it, but I called it. But whatever. We get that. We get the big payoff. You find out who kills the Watcher, you know. But towards the end, they do what a lot of people have been complaining about in the Marvel events, is that they just plant more scenes rather than close these story arcs and everything. And you know, going forth again, like I'm super excited, and I love what this sets up, and I love everything that it did. But just for this final issue, I wanted more punch.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. A lot of the characters disappear for this final issue.
Yeah.
Cap, Thor. I mean, they were
we see Thor one more time.
Still trying to pick up the hammer. But a lot of those characters just disappear, and this is like Nick Fury is the only character, and it was missing something that the earlier issues had. I don't know really what it was, but it made it less in a way for me.
But it's still great moments, you know. Jason Aaron, the way that he handled the whole, because it's a flashback. Again, like we get to see the events leading up to the death of the Watcher.
Yeah, we see the Watcher.
Just the way that Jason Aaron handles like conversations between certain characters, like the conversation between the Watcher and his murderer. It was just fantastic, you know. I love his dialogue, and that's the strongest part of this series of Original Sin has been the dialogue and the way certain characters have been handled.
Yeah, no, the character moments and the dialogue are the best part. And Mike Diodato, I mean,
he's been flawless throughout the entire series.
No delays, and you can't go wrong with that.
Yeah. So Original Sin issue number 8. How many Lugos you got for it?
I would give it 6 Lugos.
I was actually thinking that. Yeah, 6. I think it's a fair assessment. As a whole series, though, let's do that. How would you rate Original Sin?
I'd give it 8 Lugos.
It was strong. It's a strong series.
8 issues.
Just because it was so entertaining, and it did leave you guessing up until the end. If you don't have the analytical mind, and you're like, you know, nitpicking and looking at every single panel, and you know, just basically breaking everything down, then there are still some surprises here for you. But yeah, Original Sin, it was a solid series.
Yeah. Solid. That's my word. And every time someone says solid, I get a nickel. Okay, our last book of the week is the first of the Future's End, the 3D covers. This is Green Lantern 5 years later. It's by the regular team, Robert Venditti. I'm not sure who's on art.
It's Tan, I believe.
Yeah.
Billy Tan.
And it's okay. The cover's really nice. It's got a great cover. See, these covers are gimmicks, and I realize they're gimmicks, but it's a gimmick that I can go with.
Yeah, you know, it's just that
the story doesn't matter.
Yeah,
the story
it means nothing. That's the biggest problem with it, because none of us actually believe that this is the future that we're getting in the end. You know, this is just basically DC saying, well, you know, here's a hypothetical story that could take place in this future timeline. But, you know, we're not getting, like, we haven't seen Hal Jordan at all in Future's End. And what are we, like, 15 weeks in? About 15 weeks into the event, and not even a mention of the Green Lanterns or what he's been doing. So this issue holds no weight. And as far as we know, it's a single standalone issue.
Yeah, no, I don't think that this is going to be picked up anywhere else. And, I mean, I'm not a big fan of the Green Lantern books now anyway, especially the main Green Lantern book. So for me, it's like, it's okay. It's not a terrible book. It's not the worst book I've read from DC or anything. And it's okay. But nothing that I would like go out.
The one thing that I will give it though is that unlike the rest of the Future's End tie-ins that we're getting this month, Green Lantern had just wrapped up their big story arc with the uprising.
So at least you don't have to wait.
So at least you're not, it's not killing any momentum that Green Lantern had possibly have built. So it's just like basically a month off, but it's not even a month off because it's done by the regular creative team of the book.
But
just highly unnecessary.
But the cover, it's a really nice cover.
It's pretty.
Yeah, no. So I'll give 6 Lugos for the cover. I'll give 4 Lugos
for everything else. So you should just get the cover.
Yeah, but really nice cover.
All right, guys, that's another episode of CBFU from the shop. As always, we're here at Manifest Comics in Bayonne, New Jersey. Bye, comics.
See you next week.
Next week.